All right, there we go. Hello everyone, how's it going? Team here, and this is BxJS livestream. And as I've announced before, today we are going to be doing some GraphQL. Now, I've already done GraphQL about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, like some time ago. And back then, it was quite annoying, to be honest, to set everything up and configure the resolvers and everything. And basically, GraphQL was in its infancy. Well, in 2020, it's actually incredibly easy to set this up, and I honestly not sure when I would not want to do that, so long as I have the complex enough project that basically justifies using something like this, right? If you never heard about it, GraphQL is the query language for APIs. It is quite limited and very straightforward, let's just put it this way. But it does allow you to make API a lot faster and nicer than what you typically would get from, say, REST APIs. I guess probably one of the coolest aspects is the interactive console that allows you to play around with the data on the backend and then connect it to any client you want, basically. So what we're going to do today is we're going to build a very simple GraphQL API using Fastify, MongoDB, and a bunch of other tools, basically, that will do something. I honestly don't know yet what, but we're gonna figure it out as we go. So yeah, as I said, let's just start by bootstrapping the project. So I already created the folder here. I'm gonna do npm init-y, and init the npm project. I probably should configure my defaults because I still haven't actually touched them, which is a bit unfortunate, but anyway. So we are gonna roll this thing, and I have MongoDB installed here, so I'm just gonna run it in a background as a simple thing. And now what we want to do is we want to create a server that will basically serve things. And I mean, I guess we don't really, do we need that? So here's the question: do we need other things, or do we just stick to GraphQL? We're gonna figure it out. Prisma IO version 2 is going to take years to release, I think. I've read about Prisma at one point, and I remember looking at it while evaluating it for our current project. But the problem is, it seemed like, at least from my perspective, it looked like it would be a bit painful to customize it. But maybe I just maybe I mix it up. Maybe it wasn't Prisma. But anyway, I think someone already created the proposal to look at Prisma as well, so we might do another stream on Prisma as well. But anyway, let's focus on GraphQL first. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set up Fastify as our core thing. So we're gonna use Fastify as the basic server. Yeah, what? No, what is happening? Oh, I guess it refreshed the files and decided to kill my file creation. Great. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and install Fastify. Where is my... There we go. There's the Hello World example. We are just going to do that, right? So I'm just going to... I probably should make this a bit bigger so that you guys can see it. There we go. We'll try Postgres file. That is something I actually haven't used before, and I think I've read about it somewhere. Postgres file. Let's have a look. So what is this? Powerful, performant GraphQL API for Postgres. No, we are not going to be doing Postgres today. We are going to be doing MongoDB. You can do Postgres totally, but I've I just basically at the current project I'm working on, we're using Mongo, and the Mongo setup is incredibly easy right now with GraphQL. But we might dive into that some other time. Why not? That's like I think there's more than one tool that does work with Postgres and GraphQL. All right, anyway, so we declared the Fastify, we created the Hello World, and now we just run it. So let's make sure that it actually works, right? I guess I should just do it in a more modular manner. Module exports. So it's going to be start. And then I'm going to create the index.js over here in the root folder. So const start from require. I should probably start using ES modules natively in node.js at some point, because they are here now, but I still haven't used them. All right, we did that. Node index. So we should be able to go to localhost 3000, and we have our hello world. Cool. Okay, so this works. Now, here's the deal. So we now need to add MongoDB, right? So let's go ahead and add Mongoose. Was it Mongoose or was it something? I think it was Mongoose, right? Yes, it was Mongoose. Was it? Man, I am really bad at remembering the packages' names. I think it was just Mongoose, right? Read the docs, blah, blah, blah. Where's my getting started? Gitter, quick start guide. There we go. So npm download. Okay, that was correct. That's good. Okay, yes, let's grab that. And I'm just going to go db over here. We're going to create the index.js, and we're going to do our setup over here. Localhost, let's call it GraphQL example. So this is going to be our database. Why not? And what else do we want? I think, well, okay, first of all, I want const because that's what I like. And yes, so we want some events. I'm gonna grab this. So we're gonna connect, then we're gonna create a DB instance. And then so on error, we're just gonna console error that. We don't care much about that. On bind, I'm gonna do export is connected, and this is gonna be a promise which is gonna resolve once on connection open. So basically we're gonna have this promise that is gonna be resolved exactly once when we are connected, right? So we could basically listen to that, and we should probably do that immediately. So I'm gonna kill all of that. So we want okay, require db is what we want, right? And from db we want that is connected promise. And before starting the database, did I mistype it? Did I? Yes, is connected. So yes, thank you very much. We're gonna wait for the connection to database, right? And then if I start node.js now, we should be able to, yeah, there we go. So we are connected. There is some deprecation warnings. I still like I still don't understand why they don't just migrate those properties to default ones. Like, as in, you know, you have to pass this option, you have to pass that option for Mongoose to work without deprecation notices, which is like, why don't you just use it by default and do a breaking change release? So what was the message? Pass use unified topology. Okay, let's see. What is use unified topology? Warning on connection. Blah, 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 blah. Mongo. Yeah, okay, okay, there we go. So this is another property over here. Means now we should not have any warnings. There we go, cool. So we are connected to database. We now have the server running, right? Let's see. What do we want to write in a database? I'm just wondering. So we could do to-dos. That's like the obvious thing, right? But we want something that has graph-like structure, so we could actually use GraphQL with advantages, basically, right? Which is kind of makes sense. Wouldn't want to just do the plain structure, which is kind of boring. So let me think. We could, what could we do? We could do a notes app, right? So let's say we could do a notes app that has collections and then notes. That sounds about good. So let's do that. All right, so we are, where's my schema? So let's go and create the kitty schema, and we're going to change it. I'm going to create, you know what, let's do it in one file. Why not? So it's going to be, so we're going to have a collection schema, right? And it's going to be collection name. It's going to be notes, which is something we're going to define later. And I think that's basically all we want here, right? And the second thing we want is to create this model. So yeah, why not const? It's going to be called collection. It's going to be called, let's call it notes collection. It's going to be a bit more explicit. It's going to be notes collection schema. And there we go. So we define collection. And then we're going to do the same and define the, well, nodes, right? To-dos nodes. Whatever. Let's just go with nodes because it's more straightforward. Notes. Okay. This is going to be node schema. Let's just say it's going to have name and it's going to have body description. Yeah, I guess body would work, right? So we have a body string. Okay. Hey Chris, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you as well. And yes, welcome to everyone else. I had a bit of a bunch of tough tasks today, so I'm spacing out a bit from all the work, but you know what? We're gonna get through that. No problems. All right, so we got node schema. There we go. So we created nodes, we created collections. I'm gonna export that. So we're gonna export, you know what? I'm just gonna copy the name so that we are consistent. I should really try to use, man, I probably should do a node.js stream like on the ES modules because I never tried that and I really want to, because the whole export stuff is really annoying in comparison to ES modules. But I have no idea how to use that, so I'm not going to dive into that now because we won't have enough time to, well, do what we actually want to do. Okay, right, so we want, you know what we want? We want relation now, right? So we want database, no, I'm not allowing the search, so there we go. We want object ID, types, yes, schema types, query population is what we want. Yes, we want this, right? We want to say that our collection has array of nodes that are of type object ID, and that should be mongoose schema types object ID and reference to the nodes, right? There we go. So now we have two collections, one of them in nodes and the other one is nodes collection. And I mean, I guess we could. Do you guys want to first implement a REST API and then switch to GraphQL, or do GraphQL right away? It's just, for me, it was quite amazing when I found out that I can basically throw away 80% of my code that I wrote for REST API and just use GraphQL instead, which was kind of eye-opening, but I don't know if we want to spend time on that. But anyway, so the idea is that now that we have the nodes and wait a second. So we got nodes collections and nodes, right? What you would typically do is you would say, okay, so we got fastify rest. Okay, why not? Let's do rest. So we're gonna get our creation, right? So we're gonna get nodes, which is gonna be the post. I guess let's start with the collection. So we're gonna post to the collection, request, reply, and so it's gonna be I mistyped requests. That's the thing I do. Request body. So we're gonna grab the body, and from body we're gonna say grab the name. What else did we have in our nodes collection? Nothing. So just the name, right? So we basically say, okay, so now we have this. Okay, first of all, that's got to be async. So now we're gonna say, okay, we got new collection. That is gonna be new nodes collection, and we're gonna give it our name. And we're gonna say new collection save, right? So we gotta await that, so we save it. And then once we saved it, we basically return new collection to object. So we just return the nice clean JSON. Theoretically, that should do it. I wonder if I should just... I was wondering how should I do it? Like, we could obviously use like curl and stuff. Right, so no, that's not, there we go, there's data. You can just say name tests 3000 and we're gonna send it to collection. I think that should, unsupported media type. Oh, okay, it wants the JSON, you want the JSON stuff, right? Oh man, that's a bit annoying. Do we have, is there... I remember someone was saying that there's a good extension for like HTTP requests in HTTP client in VS Code. So maybe this is what we want. Yes, get body. Okay, no, not the node mod. I'm talking about some sort of extension where, you know, I could easily test the requests inside of the VS Code itself without like writing curl and stuff. Get post date UID. Oh, it has HTTP. Wait, this is like literally HTTP? What does it do? It seems like it just oh, okay, it's just a wrapper around HTTP. Okay, that's not very helpful. Check out Insomnia otherwise. Insomnia. Is that a standalone thing? Insomnia. Yeah, that's probably gonna be something else. Insomnia REST client. There we go. Okay, you gotta download that. I am too freaking lazy to do that. That looks actually quite nice. Maybe I should. I don't want to install. Does it have a portable version? Pricing, plugins. Okay. Charging for HTTP client is very bold. E2E. Oh, okay, so it's like data sync. Okay, right, sure, that's fine. Do we have a portable thing? We don't have a portable binary, so that's a no for me. I do not want to install stuff. You know what? We're just curl JSON post. We're just gonna use curl because I'm too damn lazy to do any of that. So this H content, yeah, there we go. That's what we want, right? So I'm just gonna copy that. I'm just gonna create a new tab, post it in there, post requests with name. It's gonna be test collection, and we got that 3,000. Were we on 3,000? We are on 3,000 indeed. Okay, and it's gonna be a collection, right? I think we did it on the collection endpoint. There we go. So this should create a new collection, and there we go. Cool. So that's fine. So now let's do the get collections, right? Testify get collection. I guess collections would make more sense because it's more resty. Sync request reply. Okay. And then I just I mean, I don't really need all of that, right? So what I need is I can say collection console. There's already so much in my fingers that I basically type console every time I start typing anything on C. Nodes collection find, so we just need all of them, and then we need oh god, I always like, they have this, Mongoose now has this nice utility, it's in docs, that allows you to convert the query to plain JSON right away, but it's not plain, it's not lean, it's, was it lean? It was lean. I always like, it's this weird word, it's not just like as JSON or whatever, like something that makes sense. That lean thing is constantly forget that. Okay, get collections. Cool. Let me think. So we create collection. I'm just going to copy paste that. And essentially, in this case, all we want is that, right? So this will give us not found, right? Collections. There we go. Should probably type correctly. And I should restart my server. Whoops. Nope. Node index. What is Fastify exactly? Never heard of it. It's basically more modern ExpressJS with better API and nicer plugin system. What? Come on. I said collect. There we go. Okay, so it returns our collections. That's great. And it's also a lot faster than ExpressJS. And I personally love the plugin system it has because it makes composing APIs very, very nice, and doing stuff like authorization just a breeze. But, you know, just check it out if you never heard of it. It's really great. It's my favorite thing to use, actually, for the servers in Node.js. Right, so now we need to create nodes, right? So, okay, still should be post. Nodes, I guess if we would do it in a proper REST way, what you would actually do is you would do something like this, right? You would post to collection with a specific ID, and in this case, it's gonna be a request params, I think, right? Gonna have ID, and then we're gonna say, okay, so we're gonna create a new node that is gonna be new node. Name is gonna be this. Body is gonna be body. Body, and why did I design the schema in this way? I don't think we actually want. Probably going to be easier to link them the other way, right? Just do it this way. So it's going to be collection. No, okay, we want collections because one... No, okay, you know what? Let's not overcomplicate that. Let's just say one node can have one collection. Okay, and that doesn't matter. Right, and this is going to be nodes collection. There we go, like this. This is better. And then collection is going to be... our ID, right? So this is it. Okay, new node save, new node to objects. There we go. Okay, so we now have to save some node in there. Name, okay. Test nodes body is gonna be test body, and then collection is gonna be our ID that we're gonna grab from the terminal. So there's our test collection. Gonna throw that in here. And oh no, we actually don't need, right? I don't need to throw it in a body. It's the parameter, right? All right, right. And nodes, right? So we have to do that. Check Humao REST client for VS Code. Okay, let's see, what is that? REST clients. Blah, 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 blah. I think I already looked at it, but I mean, I still have to write everything by hand, right? It's like, what's the big difference from doing the same thing with curl? Like, I mean, I get it. Maybe it's nice to have it in VS Code, but I'm totally fine with doing it with curl. Okay, I'm just going to stick with curl for now. Unexpected token. What? Oh, right, it's JSON. I forgot that I have to properly structure it. Did I actually restart my server? I should probably. Collection may not be used as schema path name. What did I screw up? Wait a second. Nodes collection. What do you mean collection? Oh, it doesn't like the collection. Okay. Why doesn't it like collection? That's interesting. Path may not be used as schema path name. Interesting. Why? That's the first. Okay, but I never called anything collection, so let's call it, I don't know, group or something? Would that work? This is the group. Do you like group? Okay, get already declared on the roots, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I guess it doesn't like... Oh, right. Right, because I declare the same get again. Find, right. You know what? Let's just write the get as well, because why not? So we do that, collection. I know we actually want node. There should be nodes. Nodes find, so that group is our ID, lin. And let me rename this to nodes. There we go. Okay, so I think now it should start. All right, and now we should be able to run this. Error, unexpected token. What did I... Oh, right. Blah. Come on. I fixed it here, but did not copy it. All right, there we go. So it actually created our nodes. So now we can curl this URL to get the nodes for our collection. Works perfectly fine. So, you know, this is... Let me just commit that, I guess, because this is the very... Oh, whoa. I am not... Projects, BxJS. Where's my GraphQL? There we go. Git. Okay. First of all, echo node modules, git ignore. Okay. Commit basic REST API setup. Okay. So got this. So this is essentially a very stupid way of setting up REST API, right? You would have to... The more entities you have, the more endpoints you'll have to describe, the more logic you'll have to write. And 90% of the time, the logic you will write is like, okay, take these parameters from the body, then throw them into the object, then save it, then return the object, right? Same goes for the find. Sometimes they have filters, sometimes not. It's just like, find me this stuff and return it. Which makes it very annoying, to be honest. And a lot of this busy work is unnecessary, right? You want to focus on writing this custom business logic. And majority of time when you do REST, this is not what you do. And that's where GraphQL is actually quite damn awesome. So there is a tool called GraphQL Compose that, as I said in the beginning, one of my complaints was that if you want to do GraphQL, or if you wanted to do GraphQL, right, one of the problems was that you still have to write those resolvers, right? So you define your GraphQL schema, you define your API, and then you write resolvers, and all of that was manual, and all of that was annoying because we already have a schema defined. Like, it is Mongoose schema, but it's still a schema that describes, you know, what properties does the entities have, what kind of relations do they have, and we already have all of that. So why do I have to go again and, you know, describe it again for GraphQL just to make it work? Well, the good thing is that now the tooling is mature enough to, well, do it for you essentially, right? So there's this awesome tool called GraphQL Compose, and it has a bunch of plugins, including GraphQL Compose Mongoose, which basically does that for Mongoose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install the tool in our repo. I probably should stop it first. So we already have Mongoose, so I don't need that. So we're going to install GraphQL. We're going to install GraphQL Compose, and we're going to install GraphQL Compose Mongoose. So this is the Mongoose plugin, right? And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new GraphQL folder that is going to hold all of our GraphQL setup, right? And I'm going to use this Node 8 version of it that works for modern Node versions. Again, I probably should not use import here because I have no idea how it works in Node.js. Again, I should really do the Node.js stream for modern ES modules because I actually want to learn that myself. Anyhow, we got two things. So we got the Compose with Mongoose thing, and we got the schema composer that does the real work. Now, we are going to be doing the whole setup for Mongoose today, but the cool thing is that the GraphQL Compose has a lot more plugins, and you can write your own that can wrap around, well, just about everything, to be honest. And they are really easy to use. So you define the schema, you define whatever schemas you want, you define models, right? And then you convert them to GraphQL. So we take our existing Mongoose models and convert them to GraphQL pieces. I'm going to leave the customization options empty as is for now. I don't think I actually used them so far. But then again, you know, our case is relatively straightforward at the moment, so maybe I will have to do that at some point. Next thing you do is you import your documents and you say, okay, so we're going to have this nodes, nodes collection TC, right? So it's going to be created from nodes collection. And then we're going to have nodes TC, which is going to be composed from the nodes. Right? So I'm going to separate them a bit because there's a few more steps that you have to go through. So the next step is you have to add your resolvers, the fields, to the schema composer. Schema composer, right? Is what you correctly pronounce it. So I'm going to copy that. We have to do that at the very end. And this is going to be module exports GraphQL schema. So the resulting thing is this GraphQL schema that you can just throw into your GraphQL server and it will magically work, which is freaking amazing, to be honest. Right, now, so we have this nodes.tc, right? And what we're going to do is I'm going to replace all of that with nodes.tc. So you define the queries and mutations that can run over this collection with specific names. Again, this says users, but we're going to say collection. Right? Collaborations, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So it says user here. It should say collection. Nodes collection. All right. So let's have a look at that. So we say that schema composer query should add fields, and this is the description of fields. So this is basically one-to-one mapping. Collection by ID is going to map to find by ID inside of Mongoose, or Mongoose, I guess, right? In this case. Find by IDs will run find by IDs, so find multiple items by IDs. Collection 1, let's just call it collection, is going to use find 1. Collection many, let's call it collections, will find many for us. Collection count will count them. Collection connection is, I honestly don't know because I haven't used it. And pagination is a special case where you want to paginate stuff. Okay, and then the same goes for mutations. You can create one, create many, update by ID, update one, update many. Again, you know, if you don't want to update or remove many, let's say we only want to allow updating or creating one at a time, we're just going to leave that, and I'm going to kill those at all, right? So we're going to only allow mutations for this collection, specifically using this ID or creating one, right? I guess we don't actually need update one. We just want update by ID and remove by ID. So we don't care about other updates. Okay, and then we do the same setup for nodes. So I'm just going to copy that, right? Throw it in here and say, okay, so we got this stuff, replace that with nodes, and then we got collection, replace that with nodes. No, wait, that should be node, right? And here's the question, do we need, yeah, so I think we also need create one, update, or remove by ID, and that's basically it. So once we did that, once we added it to schema composer, we just say build schema and export that GraphQL schema that then we can use in our GraphQL setup. So we no longer need any of that. We honestly no longer need index page, but I'm just going to leave it for the sake of it. What we do need is the GraphQL server, actually. So what I'm going to go is I'm going to say GraphQL Fastify, because there was, I think it was Apollo. Yes, Apollo server Fastify. So we're going to use that. And we're just going to install that. npm install Apollo Fastify. I mean, you can use it with ExpressJS if you want to. You can use it with any server that supports GraphQL. And I think that's like 90% of them. So this shouldn't be a problem with this year, basically. I'm going to do that. And then we do Apollo server. And then, so run the server. So let's do it here. I mean, we can do it in try. Why not? That. So, what? Wrong? Okay. So create GraphQL server. Let's call it GQL server so that it's a bit more unambiguous, I guess. And then what we need to do is we need to just register it with our app. So we wait for connection, and let's say Fastify register, and then listen. That's literally it. But okay, I forgot to actually connect the schema, right? So we actually no longer need this stuff, but we do need require GraphQL, right? So we need our GraphQL schema. And I think if I remember correctly, it was the schema property. I might be mistaken. Let me just have a quick look. Apollo server search. Let me. I just need some docs because I don't remember the property name. Defining a schema basics. No, where's my API reference? There we go. So it takes, so we don't have type defs, we don't have resolvers, we don't have context, or we don't need it right now, I guess. There is schema directives. Was it schema directives? There's a schema. There we go. So it is a schema. Okay, cool. Right. So theoretically, that should be it for the setup. So once I start node index, if I didn't screw anything up, and I apparently did, right, because I renamed it here, but not here. There we go. That should fix it. We should now have like a full-on GraphQL endpoint. So if I go localhost 3000/GraphQL, we should see a playground, and we should be able to write our queries with suggestions, right? So I should say collection name, and this will give us all the collections, and I should be able to do node name, and what else do we have? Body and group, which will give us the nodes, right? Now, there's the problem. So number one, we want to actually have a link to the group here, not just, you know, right now this is the Mongo ID, which is not very helpful. So we want to actually be able to query it like this, which in this case will produce an error saying, hey, you don't actually have that link, right? So let us go ahead and define that link. So the thing is that GraphQL Compose allows you to define a relation. And I probably should allow JavaScript to enable this search here, relation between types. There we go. So once you create the type, you can define a relation between types. And I think there was an easier example somewhere here. Maybe it was in the GraphQL Mongoose examples or something, but there is a really simple way to define those relations. And discriminators is not something we want. Where was it? Come on now. Custom fields is yes, that stuff. Relation. Yes, there we go. So, okay, there we go. So I'm just going to copy this relation from here. We're going to go into GraphQL and we're going to say that, okay, so here's our nodes TC, right? Have a relation, and relation is going to be, what was the group name, right? So we're going to, I mean, in this case, we can actually have a, we can leave it as is. We're going to have a collection name, which makes more sense in my opinion. And in this case, it's going to be node TC collection, find by ID. We only want one of them. And then ID is going to be source, and source is going to be, we're just going to take the group, right? And I'm going to grab that group from here specifically. Find by ID. So this is, I mean, I can just probably kill these comments because they don't make sense here. So now we define this additional relation. So define relation between nodes and collections, right? And if I restart our server, I probably should start using node mode now, but you know what, I'm lazy. Okay, if we refresh that, we're gonna get a new schema here. So group will still be string because we left it like this, but now we have this collection. And now I can actually ask for a name of it, and we have our collection resolution here, which is kind of great, right? So this is literally all it takes to establish our relations and allow GraphQL to query nested things. Now let's do the reverse thing. So we have the collection, right? But let's imagine we want to actually know all the nodes that it has. So it's going to be a bit trickier. And yes, you can also do that. So we can define a new property. It's going to be called nodes. It's going to nodes TC and find by... no, it's not going to be find by IDs. It's actually going to be find many, right? And hell, if I remember. So I think we want basically group to be source ID. So we map the group to the ID. And then the only thing we want to select is ID. I think if I didn't screw anything up. Whoa, no. Don't install anything. Just start a server. No CC. Did I? Oh. I'm adding it to the wrong thing, and I'm also adding it in the wrong place because we have not yet initialized the nodes collection, right? Okay. Between collection and nodes is what we want here. Okay, I think if I didn't screw anything up, that should give us a way to say, okay, I want nodes, and they should have a name, and it actually works. So there you go, as easy as that. Now, the cool thing is that it's just as easy to extend it for any additional functionality you want, like adding authentication, adding or appending user to specific creator requests. So, for example, if we have authentication set up and we want any node created to be attached to a specific user, we could wrap all of that. We could pass the user through the context in our server. So you can define a context property here that will have access to the current request. You grab the user from there, pass it to context, and handle it over here and write it to one of the properties. Done. It is insanely easy to do that. And essentially the whole setup just comes down to setting up the schema that you have in your database and then writing this tiny additional either relations or specific logic where you need to, do something like user handling. And that's basically it. That's how easy it is to set up GraphQL in 2020. Okay, let me just convert API to GraphQL using GraphQL. What was the name of it again? Compose, right? Right, there we go. GraphQL Compose. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's actually all I wanted to show because I was extremely surprised as to how easy it is to do something like that in 2020. And again, I had my experience like a couple of years ago, and writing all of those resolvers by yourself was annoying as hell, especially knowing that you already have a schema. But yeah, it's very easy now, very convenient. And if you have a complex enough structure that warrants GraphQL, this is probably the easiest way to set this up. I mean, again, if you don't need a lot of custom logic, stuff like Prisma or what was it called? Hasura is probably the way to go. But if you want full control over how your queries are run, what is going on, in being able to easily extend the business logic, this is incredibly easy to set up and really flexible. Right, that's basically it from my side. So if you guys have any questions, suggestions, something is not clear, feel free to throw them into the chat right now. If not, we can just wrap it up here. How the hell am I not logged in? No, let me just do that. I'm just gonna create a repo and oh, come on, really? Right, okay, let me grab my phone. While you're thinking on the questions, I'm gonna go ahead and where is my authentication app? There we go. I'm going to create a repo and push everything in there. But if you guys don't have any questions, then, well, we can just wrap it up here. Where's my GitHub? Is it GitHub? Yes, this is GitHub. So there we go. It looks good enough. Cool. Okay. New repo. What did I call it? GraphQL Mongoose example. Oh, yeah. I probably need a README file as well. So example of setting up GraphQL API using Mongoose and GraphQL Compose. Right. We need a README. That's a really good point. README MD. I am gonna be very lazy as usual and just copy it from one of the older repos. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them into the chat right now. If not, then yeah, it was basically that's it from my side. Whoa, no, don't copy all of that. So, example of setting up GraphQL API with Mongoose and I cannot type. Come on, really? GraphQL Compose. There we go. Fine. I'm creating a simple graph. Yeah. Maybe if I could type, that would be really nice. Simple GraphQL API using Mongoose and GraphQL Compose. There we go. How did I still not update the link? I should revisit my older repositories at one point and update all the links and make sure that they are actually correct. But yeah, that seems to be very hard. GraphQL in 2020. Right. I'm showing how to. I'm just gonna be very lazy. Probably create some sort of a generator like someone suggested last time. Right, so GraphQL Compose is what we want, and the other thing we want is Mongoose, right? That is too many O's. So this is Mongoose, and we have a GraphQL Compose. There we go. Okie dokie, that looks fine. Git add, git commit, add readme file. There we go. I think we're basically done here. Doesn't really seem like you guys have any questions or suggestions. So there was short-ish stream, but I hope you learned something new. If you still have any questions or suggestions, join our Discord and just you know, throw your stuff in there. I have seen Prisma, but I have not tried it. You are already a third person today, I think, to mention it. So I think we are gonna try it at some point, and I'm probably gonna maybe next week, maybe in a couple of weeks, gonna do a live stream, trying out Prisma and seeing how exactly that works. So we got what? MongoDB, whoa, what is happening? Mongoose, come on, GraphQL Compose, Fastify, I guess. There you go, that's probably enough, right? Okay, I think that about covers it. So yeah, so as usual, the code is on GitHub. The video VOD will be available immediately on both YouTube and Twitch. If you have any questions, feel free to join Discord server or throw them into the comments on YouTube. I will reply as soon as I can. That's basically it from my side. So thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I guess, you know, stay safe, don't get sick, self-isolate and everything. And I see you on Wednesday for the BxJS weekly stream. Maybe I'll see you on Friday for the Doom Eternal release stream, because this game looks absolutely bonkers and I feel like I just have to stream that because it's just too good. And yeah, that's basically it from my side. So thank you guys very much for watching once again. Have an awesome rest of the week, and I see you next time.